Dana Jacobson from CBS Saturday Morning. Welcome to The Dish. Today we're exploring the infinite world of Italian food, from a pizzeria in New Jersey to a pasta shop in Italy. For our first course, I met up with a culinary couple who have opened one of the most sought-after restaurants in New York City.
We'll take the sweet fennel sausage, 1 pound.
For chefs Angie Rito and Scott Tassinelli, their labor of love starts with hand-picked ingredients. Today's from a local Italian deli.
We love to use that sausage specifically, actually, as the base of our bolognese sauce. So this will be perfect.
Back at their restaurant, Don Angie, that personal touch has helped elevate Italian-American food
Pick up calamari.
to a kind of new-age Italian cuisine.
This is our Italian sausage bolognese sauce.
And trying to take a dish and make it your own. How much fun, how much enjoyment do you get from that?
I mean, a lot. That's what the whole Don Angie menu really is, I think. New takes on classic type dishes, familiar flavors, but like surprising. I think that was the only way to make this restaurant kind of stand out.
I was lucky enough to get a sneak peek at where the magic happens.
We use a lot of cheese at the restaurant. I'm just letting you know, we really like cheese.
Scott gave me a crash course in preparing one of Don Angie's signature dishes, their pinwheel lasagna.
So you're gonna kind of come in and you're gonna tuck it under like this, and then you're gonna roll it really, just go for it. Just roll it really fast like a burrito.
Unlike the traditional version, the pasta is pre-sliced, then baked on its side, invigorating the old standard.
We kind of have an advantage because we're two chefs running a restaurant, where if it's just one chef,
Right.
they don't have the other person with the same creative knowledge to kind of help them.
Yeah, it's always a conversation.
But Scott and Angie aren't just partners in business, they're also partners in life. Husband and wife, and recent first-time parents. They met while working at the same New York City restaurant. Love at first sight or friendship at first sight?
I think it was love at first sight on my part, but I mean, I don't know about Angie.
They say love blossomed while traveling and played out across dinner tables throughout Manhattan.
I would take her around to all different restaurants, and then we started going to Italian-American restaurants together, like red sauce, old school red sauce restaurants. Yeah, it's just everything about it that, you know, the nostalgia of it, and so that's where we kind of really, our love like flourished, I think.
Both have red sauce running through their veins. Angie grew up in Cleveland, working in her grandfather's Italian bakery and specialty store, and learning traditional recipes from her Neapolitan grandmother.
Food was like the centerpiece of every family gathering, always a lot of it. My grandmothers on both sides would just make, copious amounts of food for everyone, like way too much than anyone could ever consume, but that's just the way it was. And
food was love.
Yes, of course.
Scott says food was also love for him as a kid in New Jersey. His grandparents, like Angie's, also Italian-American and avid cooks, along with his mom. But for Scott, cooking as a career only came after a decade in ad sales.
I kept thinking, I don't want to do this for another year, let alone another 30 years. So I've always loved cooking. I always wanted to try it. So I went to culinary school and took some classes and fell in love with it, and then just kind of went from there.
At Don Angie, the duo has combined their passion for food and for family.
The inspiration has always been, yes, the food that we grew up eating that we're so passionate about. But we also kind of want to do stuff that's surprising and unique to people. Like, how do we kind of make stuff that's warm and comforting and soulful, but kind of put some little spins here and there so it's fun for people.
Yeah. Like this familiar favorite, spaghetti and meatballs, but served in a frittata. I'm with you on spaghetti and meatball photo. It's so simple. And mortadella spiedini, topped with pickled garlic salsa verde. There's also the spicy baked clams Francesco.
We call them that because they have a little kick from Frank's Red Hot in there.
A local pizza joint in Angie's hometown inspired their Italian-American wedge salad, topped with creamy herb dressing and pepperoni. And for dessert, how about pignoli cookies with rosemary and lemon, or Vietnamese coffee tiramisu?
Vietnamese coffee is really delicious. It's usually made with a chicory-based coffee and then a lot of sweetened condensed milk. So we make a cream filling that has sweetened condensed milk in it, and then a custard with a sweetened condensed milk in it as well.
That's phenomenal. phenomenal. And thanks to their new cookbook, there is no reservation required to get a taste of some of Don Angie's most popular offerings. Why did you want to do a cookbook?
We just wanted to share our cuisine, I guess, with like a broader audience and bring our cuisine into people's homes. We really set out with this book to make something that was approachable for home cooks. Yeah. We wanted people to get their hands dirty and use it and cook.
Get red sauce all over it.
And they've been doing it,
Exactly,
which
yeah.
is insane. Like
Yeah.
we every day, multiple times a day, we get like notifications on Instagram, people posting pictures of the stuff they make out of the book, and it, it's really heartwarming. It's really cool.
No matter the setting, it's family traditions carried on one dish at a time.
People have a great time here and a great experience, and they love the food, and that's all I could ask for.
I have to pinch myself sometimes because it's very special that we can sort of like contribute to people's lives and make them happy, making them feel welcome and comfortable and having a wonderful meal here or sharing some of our recipes with them at home.
Yeah.
I think it's a great feeling.
Manhattan isn't the only place with incredible Italian. Up next, a Los Angeles chef who's been around the world and back home again. This is The Dish. Chef Zach Pollak originally visited Italy to study the country's stunning architecture, but quickly realized his true passion was for its cuisine. He shared his culinary journey over a meal with our Jamie Wax.
Fire mod sticks to go, and 33 single pepperoni.
To experience Chef Zach Pollak's beautiful, flavorful, often whimsical take on Italian cuisine, while sitting across the table from the chef himself,
Wow.
is to be in the presence of something akin to a teenager discovering the joy of his life,
That is not the cheese stick from the mall.
Did you go ranch? I didn't
went
notice.
ranch.
You went ranch.
combined with a disciplined artisan studied in the skills, details, and techniques of ancient cultures, as when he describes the cuisine in his pizza-focused restaurant.
When we opened, 90% of the menu was kind of written already by what kinds of things a pizzeria has. And the exercise here has always been execute it as best as we possibly can. Use all the techniques that we've learned and, bring it home and kind of keep it an honest portrayal of what it should be.
Like his dishes, it all comes together perfectly when one considers that he found his passion for cooking while pursuing his passion for architecture as a college student studying abroad in Italy.
I got distracted while I was there. The way Italians engage with food and wine was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. Food is not just something that is consumed, it's a ritual, it's a part of life, it connects them to their history, it connects them to their geographies, and that was just something that really blew my mind.
You say the Florentine Central Market really pulled you in and all of the foods and experiences there.
It was so overwhelming. It probably was like a kid in a candy store, and I was just totally bowled over. And I had a little apartment there, and I would buy whatever I could and bring it back to my apartment, and on that little tiny two burner, cook whatever I could cook.
Do you remember the moment where you really shifted from saying, I don't think I'm going to be an architect anymore, I think this is going to be my life?
I remember being in that little apartment and saying, this is, something is going on here, and I need to at least give it a try.
After a brief return to convince his parents of the shift in his career focus, the Los Angeles native started a series of exhausting but meaningful apprenticeships back in Italy.
I remember starting service, and then literally, and this is not hyperbole, literally, the woman that was running the station where I was staging that night said, okay, it's time to break down. And I looked up at the clock, and it was 11:45, and I was in total disbelief. And that's when I knew, okay, something about restaurant cooking that you're going to find really fulfilling, and I've always found it really fulfilling.
You lost yourself and lost time in that first experience.
The first day.
And after years of diligent work in the kitchens of respected chefs, the LA boy brought all his knowledge and creativity back home to both honor traditional Italian cuisine and to turn it on its head with the elegantly appointed and sophisticated alimento and his inspired take on a classic pizza joint, Cosa Buona.
So the spot where the restaurant is has been a pizzeria since, I think, the 50s. So carrying on that tradition was really important.
It was at Cosa Buona that he set up a spread for us that was nothing short of an architectural masterpiece.
Just make sure you don't stab it with the fork.
No, I'm going to lift it.
Italian soup dumplings, a complete reversal of tortellini and brodo.
People have got to smile when this comes to the table.
I always smile when this comes to the
It's
table.
fun.
I'm going to have one.
Yeah, please.
Crispy polenta with salmon roe.
Yes. That's all I can say is yes to every bit of this. The texture, the flavors.
2 chopped salads, one more traditional with salami and pepperoncini, the other with fried chickpea polenta and an emulsified vinaigrette. His irreverently reverent Hawaiian pizza.
Just because there's a lot of, pizza out there with pineapple that maybe isn't good, doesn't mean that pizza and pineapple can't be friends.
You like that challenge.
Absolutely.
And a unique eggplant parm that cooks overnight.
All of this is really very traditional in its construction and in its flavor profile.
Totally, and there definitely is, like you say, a lot of inspiration from maybe techniques from other cultures. It all, at the end of the day, is hopefully paying homage to its roots.
Everything here makes cohesive sense. It seems to be a guy having a lot of fun with his creativity and with both his limitations and the fact that there are no limits, really.
It's funny you say that, because I actually think that I work much better when there are limits, when there are boundaries. Those boundaries would force creativity. I think that's why I kind of went from architecture into cooking, because they are both very creative fields, but they are also heavily bound by rules, right? At the end of the day, the house has to stand up. If it looks gorgeous but it falls down, you haven't done your job. As a chef, it can't just look great, certainly, and it can't even just taste great, or then we'd all just make candy bars. It has to be nutritious, it has to nourish.
And after a career spent bringing new ideas to the table, Zach Pollak is grateful that he can once again bring diners to the table.
I've always loved, entertaining and making people happy. And, there is an ambitious program that comes with that, which is how do we bring more of these to other parts of Los Angeles? We're looking at possible other locations.
Well, you need to put the new location near my house, please. That's all I ask.
Very good.
Because you've made this person very happy today, I can tell you. Salud.
Cheers.
What would an Italian food-themed episode be without pasta? Or for that matter, a trip to Italy where it originated. As previously seen on CBS Sunday Morning, Seth Doane traveled to a small town in southeast Italy where one pasta shape tops them all.
Ciao. The scene could not be much more Italian. A Vespa, laundry on the line, and women in the street making pasta. To know which part of Italy, though, just look at the shape they're making. That is, if you can see it. Nunzia Caputo's hands move so quickly that we've slowed down the video to see her forming orecchiette, which means little ears. It's the pasta of Puglia, a region known for olive trees, distinctive homes called trulli, and orecchiette, which Caputo says she's been making since she was 6. Good thing she sees it as more art than work.
Perché un'arte?
Perché un'arte? Perché vedi questa massa che...
Because you see this mass transform, she told us. It's magic in your hands.
Una magia tra le mani.
This pasta gleams like treasure on these streets where a number of women make orecchiette. Caputo is the 4th generation in her family. Too bad there won't be a 5th. She has sons.
Rimasti qui, bevono birra.
The men here drink beer. They do not make orecchiette.
What a pity.
Che peccato sì, non avevo neanche 6 anni.
There's this one woman, Nunzia. We've been going there, for the last 20 years or so, and buying our orecchiette from her and learning how to make it.
Can you make it?
Are we being recorded?
Elizabeth Minkili has written books on eating and dining out in Italy, and she and her daughter Sophie offer Week in Italy food tours to visitors.
So you'll see all the women with their tables outside doing orecchiette.
In the region's capital, Bari, they stop where Nunzia Caputo has set up shop, or, stage.
Viva Italia!
Her show offers mystery and head-shaking delight.
She's not even looking.
You're used to seeing pasta made in a pastificio inside, indoors. Why on the street?
Well, originally the pasta that we think of as the original pasta was dried on the street. They used the sun and the wind.
Caputo says passers-by once asked her mother, who's still never far, if they could buy some pasta, and a business was born.
This, for me, is the gold of Puglia.
The gold of Puglia.
Yes,
But
of
this
course.
is flour.
Yes, flour, yes, but it's yellow.
At Ancora Pastificio, Michele Fiore showed us how in Bari, selling just one size of orecchiette won't do.
This is less small, medium and a half, big one.
We counted 7, which he'd better have in stock if he wants to keep his customers.
You don't have a small? Okay, today don't eat.
Really?
Yeah.
They'll leave
Yes,
if you don't have the right size
yes,
orecchiette?
yes, yes.
Do you really need all of these different sizes of orecchiette?
Yes, of course you do.
In all seriousness, Elizabeth Minkili explains different sizes go with different sauces.
How does a type of pasta become so connected with a region of Italy?
Well, I think it has to do with every region, every town has their own traditions, and they start out with certain kinds of flour. They start out with certain economic conditions, and then they have the ingredients that go with that pasta. So if in the north you have more cream and more butter and more cheese, whereas in the south it's a little bit poorer, so you have more vegetables.
Where do you rank orecchiette on your list of pastas as a cook?
Oh, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to weigh in on this. I love all pastas equally from all regions.
A dash of diplomacy can also be a key ingredient in a country where food means so much.
You didn't think we forgot about pizza, did you? Up next, we grab a slice in New Jersey. There are so many ways to make a delicious pizza, but according to Dan Ricker, it all comes down to ingredients and technique. I hopped over the Hudson to learn more. What isn't there to love about pizza?
Nothing. It's pure happiness.
That is the essence of Dan Richer's new cookbook, filled with lessons learned creating his own pies here at his Jersey City restaurant, Razza Pizza Artigianale.
I want it to be the best bite of pizza that they ever have, and this becomes their barometer for pizza.
With his recipes, home cooks can become pizziolas.
This is how we launch a pizza into a wood-fired oven.
QR codes even lead readers to instructional videos by Richer himself.
Take one corner and pull it over itself and just gently pat it in the middle. Because there's only so much you can learn by reading words. This is a very tactile experience. When I was learning pizza making and bread baking, I was reading books, and I always wished that I had a master bread baker right next to me.
Now you can.
Saying, you need to work it a little bit more, you know? And then we're gonna coax it out of the dough tray.
I joined Richer in the Razza kitchen for a few pointers. It all starts with the dough, kneaded with a soft touch.
With the amount of pressure that you would tap somebody on the back.
Then stretched just so.
Okay, and then just pull your hands apart.
Next, the toppings. Just under a ladle of tomato sauce, 70 grams of fresh mozzarella, and 24 pepperoni slices.
What happened when it was 25?
It's too much.
Getting it into the wood-fired oven is harder than it looks.
Go in.
I spoke too soon.
Assist.
Yes, assist, please.
Do it. Yeah.
Yes.
Champion.
Yes. That I got.
The top of the oven should be a little bit warmer.
But the real test is judging the pie according to Richer's 56-point pizza evaluation rubric.
That means when a guest takes a bite of this,
it's not going to fall apart.
It's not going to fall apart. Okay? Beautifully baked, structurally sound pizza. And the flavors of fermentation should be real floral and complex.
That's really good. Yeah.
You crushed it.
Richer's pizza obsession had a bittersweet beginning. It started during a post-college graduation trip to Italy.
I tasted this food that was so fantastic and better than any pizza or pasta that I've ever tasted.
So you come back from Italy and it's like everything is opened up, your taste buds, everything.
Opened up, but also closing down. As soon as I got back, my mom was very sick, and I remember crying on the airplane home because I was just off this adventure.
Right.
And I knew that it wasn't going to end well.
Robin Richer died of cancer in 2002. Richer says he got through his grief by channeling his mom's work ethic as he attempted to recreate the tomato sauce he tasted in Italy.
So I made batch after batch after batch, and I started visiting farmers markets to buy the ingredients. And that's where it just all clicked. It's the ingredients. It really comes down to ingredients and technique.
Eventually, Richer raised enough money to buy a failing restaurant where he worked at perfecting pasta before turning his attention to pizza.
But pizza is alive. It's a living, breathing thing until it's consumed, because what makes pizza is that it's bread. So I started studying bread making and learning about fermentation. So we have to understand the science in order to create a really amazing pizza on a consistent basis.
In 2012, Richer opened Razza, serving up artisanal pizza so good it soon earned this headline in the New York Times: "The best pizza in New York is in New Jersey."
It was important because it broke through the location factor. If you put me in Arizona or Arkansas, I'm gonna make fantastic pizza because your location does not dictate its merits.
Richer made us some of that fantastic pizza, like the Project Hazelnut, with hazelnuts from blight-resistant trees developed by his alma mater, Rutgers University.
I love this.
Next, the fungi, featuring chanterelle and maitake mushrooms.
We have a forager that we work with. He just brings us a certain quantity of mushrooms, whatever is the best.
Bravo, Dan, by
Isn't
the way,
that
on
good?
these. Oh my God.
Yeah.
The guancia is Richer's love letter to Rome.
Yeah, we sat with a piece of guanciale, a caliper, which is a measuring device for very specific thicknesses. We cut 12 different size pieces, and we got just the right one so that the edges get a little bit crispy, but the bottom of it stays a little pliable.
The perfect saltiness, too.
It's a journey in taste, much like the creation has been for Richer. He writes this of pizza in his book: "No other food is so perfect in its imperfections, so forgiving on its way to mastery."
And the joy is in the journey for me.
Of creating whatever that pizza
Of learning and meeting people along the way. This is a flour miller, a wheat grower, a mushroom forager, a cheese maker. We just put it together.
Your obsessions keep channeling to new things. What's the next obsession after pizza, or does it stay with pizza?
There's always something to learn in the process. Always. It's never going to be finished until I shut this restaurant down.
For more stories like these and live coverage of breaking news 24/7, stream us right here on CBS News. I'm Dana Jacobson. We'll see you next time for another helping of The Dish.